Hello, we are Team 1, and our topic is We Are Saving the Wrong Bees. The independent handling and management of the bee population began a few years ago, in 2008. The news was spread with a major report. Bees were in danger of extinction, and this meant a crucial risk to our food production and all the species involved. Just a year later, campaigns to save the bees pick up momentum. The beginning of the neonicotinoid-based pesticides banning starts from some European countries, and the first differences are noticed. In both Europe and the US, activists sought regulatory measures banning pesticides and promoting a movement called #SaveTheBees. This trending proposes a managed growth of bee colonies, in which everyone can participate. By the time the movement was growing and gaining popularity, it was well known that the world was facing an irreversible problem: the pollinator danger of extinction. And as soon as it became the main issue, the information has been spread, and in a matter of time, groups of people began to work in increasing the number of colonies. People individually have also joined the cause, trying to avert the environmental crisis. And the extinction of plants, crops, animals, and our species on the way. However, media has shown how powerful it can be and how quickly it is to distort information, since this movement has created new trouble. This year, the goal is not to increase beehives, but to stop managing them. After all, honeybee manual production is the main contributor to this issue.
The increase of honeybees. In two words, there exist approximately 20,000 species of bees, wild bees, which are debatably more important than the honey-making kind. People are concerned about bees, desperately looking for a solution. Some organizations are taking the plight of the honeybee for granted at their own peril. But what most people don't know is that honeybee numbers are increasing worldwide. The way humans use honeybees makes them a problem, manually increasing the honeybee colonies is not the correct alternative, because we're saving the wrong bees. Animals are involved in the pollination of 90% of the flowering plants. When thinking of pollinators, the honeybee species is the most common.
Apis mellifera. Honeybees are native to Asia, Europe, and Africa, but nowadays they produce all continents except Antarctica. Apis mellifera is the name of the honeybee and the best studied. They are general pollinators, meaning they pollinate most of the plants, and although honeybees are at risk the pest and increases, the number of colonies worldwide is actually growing. According to the AFO, managed hives have increased worldwide 83% since 1961. Because they're always managed by the beekeepers and also receive veterinary treatment and so on, there's no risk they to become extinct. But in general, public confounds honeybees with the variety of wild bee species, the most important wild pollinators.
Differences between bees. These wild bees are mostly solitary, and unlike honeybees, they are sweet to specific plants, which makes them better at pollinating. To demonstrate this, it has been shown that, for example, an hectare of apple trees would require tens of thousands of honeybees to pollinate, but only hundreds of a specific species of wild bee, because Osmia cornuta is particularly good at apple pollination. Each flowering plant is strongly connected to a pollinator that fits accordingly to the look and key principle. This perfect fit between both flower and its select pollinator is a product of an ongoing coevolution for centuries that is still operating.
The importance of wild bees. Like the squash bees, native to Central and South America, they are perfectly suited to squash plants. They are early risers and squash flowers that are only open in the early morning, while honeybees are still asleep. Same happens with tomatoes, potatoes, and eggplants. These crops also need wild pollinators, allowed ones like bumblebees to be precise. Their flowers require a vibrating buzz to release their pollen, something a bumblebee perfectly provides. Honeybees just don't have that skill. But wild bees are in serious decline, and this doesn't only affect them and their ecosystem, but our food security as well.
The wild bee decreasement. Worldwide, wild bee diversity has been decreasing each year since 1990s. Pesticides, intensive agriculture, and especially habitat loss are the main forerunners of this problem. A recent study found that we may have already lost a quarter of wild bee species, but assessment is hard due to lack of global data. Various regional states estimate that over 40% of wild bee and butterfly species are threatened. Farmers are already noticing a difference. When they walk along a field, everything was full of pollinators, and nowadays looks like everything is calmed down, and nobody knows where they are.
Effects on ecosystems. This loss of diversity can cause knock-on effects on a whole ecosystem. Less pollinator diversity means fewer wild plants. This can affect animals that use them for food or shelter, and it is also bad for the future of our food production. The yield of cultivated plants is higher when they are visited by a variety of pollinators compared to when they are visited by only honeybees. US crops are already producing less due to the wild pollinator decline, and globally, we are planting more and more of the crops that require animal pollination like fruits, vegetables, and oilseeds. The increase in honeybees hasn't kept up. This means pollinator dependence has increased around 70% since 1961, and combined with the decline in wild pollinators, means an emergency for the global food supply. This is especially true in countries with many large monocultures that destroy wild pollinator habitats like China and the US. Not only that, but the way we use honeybees actually makes them part of the problem. According to the American Beekeeping Federation, two-thirds of the 2.7 million honeybees colonies in the US are used for pollination. Most of them go to the almond fields in California, where 80% of the almonds are produced. Then, bees rotate around the country to pollinate other crops. Nowhere else in the world uses honeybees for pollination as the United States, but the trend is growing in Europe too, and wild pollinators disappear. Unfortunately, it's not so good for the honeybees. They can be exposed to the pesticides from the crops or catch diseases from the other colonies, and these honeybees are also a threat for the wild ones.
Save the bees. Within the honeybee hive, you have tens of thousands of individuals that need a lot of food. They will eat most of the floral resources, and there will not be enough left for the other pollinating species. If we have excess bees, they will probably outcompete these native species very fast. Honeybees can also spread diseases to wild bees. An infected bee can release some virus on the flower to be picked up by the next wild bee that visits. It's not the honeybee's fault, but Save the Bees definitely does not mean anything adding to the environment. People think that having a beehive in their backyard is a great way to help the environment, but that's the wrong way to conserve the pollinators. Industrial agriculture is the biggest threat to all the bees. It uses harmful chemicals and relies on huge fields of one crop. Ideally, we can change our food system, but on a personal level, supporting small-scale sustainable farmers, if viable, also will support diverse habitats for wild bees. We need honeybees, but they don't need all the attention. Wild bees are in danger of extinction.
Or proposal. We are saving the wrong bees. As we already reported, the inaccuracy of best evidence of the media and expanding this idea undoubtedly problematic. The Save Bees movement is directly overcoming native wild bee species while spreading up the colony of beehives. This trend is underproducing and extremely dangerous since it's taking over the media and encouraging people to increment the number of honeybee colonies. We believe already proposals towards the ban pesticides and are achieving significant outcomes. Meanwhile, the population keeps misinforming and keep reversing a possible development. Our proposal is about choosing a new hashtag. We are saving the wrong bees. with the sole purpose of advising the consequences and, of course, to stop promotion of manual management behind. Besides, there are many ways in which we can directly support the issue to prop up and small sustainable farms and donate the hashtag #SaveTV's movement, since its change promote an movement in the industrial agriculture and the management of harmful pesticides once the world shows a difference. We keep should contributing to this movement.
Conclusion. As we have unfortunate, the disinformation is very clear in the media, and without a doubt feeding, this state of movement makes the problem bigger. Humans must be moved away and not get with the natural rhythm and the species. By promoting care of one species and neglecting another gives them a preference against other species incapable of defending themselves and reproducing. We still need to change laws to control harmful pesticides, support small and sustainable farms, and improve industrial agriculture, which is why we need the Save the Bees. However, to maintain control and fact-based information in the communities, it is necessary to question all the tendencies that this movement proposes.
Thank you for your attention.